Hi guys, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be selecting our team of the season for the 2019-2020 Premier League campaign. Now, we know that the season hasn't been completed yet. We don't even know if it is going to be completed, but we've been having little chats around the house saying what we think has been the best team, best players of the season. So without further ado, Nathan, let's jump straight into it. And can you let us know your formation and your goalkeeper?
Right, I'm going for a traditional 4-3-3, very common at the moment.
Traditional.
Well, sort of traditional. And the goalkeeper is Dean Henderson of Sheffield United.
Yeah, why is that then?
He's basically played every single game this season except one where he was eligible because he's all over Man United, but he has been consistent throughout. I think he's really only made one main mistake, and that was when they played Liverpool. I think he tried to save it, parried off him, but he was absolutely phenomenal that game, and the amount of shots he had to face, it was evident that at some point he was going to make a mistake, and he's just been straight up solid compared to the other keepers and everything. Many people say, why don't we put Alisson in? Well, Alisson hasn't played as many games this season either.
He's played
about 20, I think.
20 games.
So he's played about 8 games more. And really, with a side like Sheffield United who do take a lot of shots, he's just been outstanding this season, really. So I've got to give it to Henderson.
Yeah, I agree. I've actually gone for Henderson myself. Matches played, as you say, he's played 27 matches. He's conceded 22 goals in that time, 69 saves, 10 clean sheets. And I think he's faced 2 penalties and he's saved one of them. Others on that list who could have easily been at the top of the tree is Pope.
Nick
Of Burnley. I know they've had a lot of clean sheets up there in Burnley. Dubravka from Newcastle has played really well as too. Alisson, as you say, should be really the best keeper in the league, but for this purpose I've gone for Henderson. Schmeichel's had a really good game as well for Leicester. Guaita as well at Crystal Palace has played well. Ryan of Brighton. He's put in some good performances. Has made very little errors throughout the season.
Consistent.
One that we haven't mentioned is Leno of Arsenal. Has been fantastic. Some of the superb saves he's made this season have been absolutely fantastic.
And if they didn't have Leno and they had someone like, I don't know, Karius or something, or Calamity James from a few years back, if you remember him, former England goalkeeper, then I reckon Arsenal will be about 12th, 14th maybe. They'll be right down there.
Another keeper as well, who I've got in my fantasy football squad, is Patricio of Wolves. He's been playing really well. But I've watched a lot of videos on goalkeeping, or goalkeepers this season, and it's Henderson for me. He's made some superb saves and stops, parries and all that sort of thing. So yeah, Henderson for both of us then, Nathan. Moving on to the defence, and we'll start off right back. I've gone for Trent Alexander-Arnold. However, he's come in with very stiff opposition for this. You could have had the likes of Wan-Bissaka, who's had a very good season in the way how he's defended. Not so good or great moving forward, although he's improving, but he doesn't get as many balls in or set up as many goals as Trent Alexander-Arnold. And also Pereira of Leicester, his overall game for attacking and defending is absolutely superb, and that's been for the last couple of seasons. But I think for the influence he's had this season, Trent Alexander, for me, although I'll say it, I've said it numerous times before, he is susceptible to pace, and if he comes up with anyone against pace, he's found wanting. But this season, been absolute exceptional going forward. Instrumental on Liverpool's charge should be the title then. Yeah, I've gone for Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Well, for that reason that you always say about Trent with the with pace going against him and him really not being as strong in defence as him going forward, that is the exact reason why I've left him out of this team. I've actually put Pereira in there. I thought he's been absolutely solid. 68 tackles this season. Yeah. Fantastic.
But for this season, I'm not talking about the previous season.
For this season, still Pereira.
Yeah, okay. Even though that's Alexander-Arnold, 12 assists, 2 goals.
Yeah, 12 assists, 2 goals. But then again, wingers have that. Whereas
But he is playing at right back, isn't
this
he?
is a right back who would really mind some of them. If they're playing wing backs, they have to be strong going forwards. Really, for me, a good right back has to do a bit of everything. And personally, Pereira I think has been a much better option this season. It's been a fairly better option this season. But that's just my opinion anyway. Pop in the comments, guys. And yeah, Pereira's had a solid season for Leicester.
Okay, left back then, Nathan.
Left back, I've actually stuck with Liverpool for this. I'm actually going to Liverpool for this one. I'm going to pick Andy Robertson. Now this is the sort of right back I like, both good attacking and defending.
Left back, isn't he? So
that's what I mean, left back. And now this is what I like in a left back, both good attacking and good defending. He's had a good number of assists. I think he's had 7 assists this season. He's had a good number of tackles as well. Been a really strong influence on the Liverpool team, and I really can't think of a better left back that can compete with him this season. So Robertson, a left back.
Yeah, Robertson for me as well. Same as you, Nathan.
Good.
7 assists, 1 goal, and thinking of who else could be better than Robinson this year. We've got like of Chilwell from Leicester, who's had a decent season. Shaw has impressed me at Man United. Of course, Man United starting off the season not the greatest.
No.
Stevens of Sheffield United I think he plays in that sort of left back role of the back three there with overlapping centre backs, and he does get forward a lot. I think he's weighed in with a couple of goals as well. And Ding as well of Everton, who's put in 244 crosses in all for the seasons. Fantastic. But yeah, overall for me it has to be a Robinson too. Okay, move in for the central defenders. I'll do both of these now. I don't think there's going to be any argument from anybody saying Van Dijk, absolute colossus at the centre of the Liverpool defence. We've seen him in the flesh as well, and I can't recall a more composed defender or centre half that I've seen live.
Insane against
and
us.
I'm thinking internationally as well. He's been brilliant. You go back to the likes of Beckenbauer in the 70s, and I remember watching footage of him, and he looks as good, possibly, maybe,
probably better.
Well, I don't know if he's better because the way Beckenbauer used to play, bringing the ball out from the back, and he was composed and everything. Going back a little bit further, or around about that time as well, Bobby Moore, probably England fans out there. But yeah, composure. I think he doesn't get done for pace very often, maybe once or twice. I think I can recall for the last couple of seasons, but yeah, absolutely superb. Secondly, as well, I was scratching my head a little bit about this one. I was thinking Tomori of Chelsea's had a pretty good season. Is it Shah as well as Newcastle?
Shaw,
he's had a good season at Maguire, but I've had to give it to Soyuncu of Leicester. Now, prior to the new year, he was absolutely fantastic.
He was a beast.
A beast, but after Christmas or coming into the new year, he hasn't been. He hasn't got up to those heights or those standards. But for the season overall, Leicester in third position. I've had to give it to him. So yeah, my centre back pairing of Van Dijk and Soyuncu.
I've gone for exactly the same centre back pairing there. Can't disagree with you at all, really.
Any comments about either of them?
Soyuncu looks like Lord Farquhar, and even though he's like a bigger version of him, he can absolutely defend well. And Van Dijk's just a tank at the back; no one can get around him. There's no discussion with who to put centre back for both teams.
I think with Soyuncu as well. I think he was sort of backup, wasn't he, last year? And then Maguire went to Man United, so he stepped up to that plate really well. So then, Nathan, next moving on to your midfield.
So this is quite a bold move, but I put Bruno Fernandes in.
Yeah, he's only just joined.
Yeah, he's only just joined United, but he has been impressive. You're talking carrying the team levels. He's absolutely rejuvenated that Man United side. If he would have played from the start of the season, then I would say he's probably going to be one of the best midfielders in the league. With what impression he's given in the first 3 or 4 games until the season got suspended, he's been absolutely phenomenal. So he's got to go in. Then I put Kevin De Bruyne, fantastic, scoring goals, scoring worldies, assisting everywhere, being absolutely ridiculous. His injury proneness has sort of died off a little bit this season, but fantastic. And then James Maddison in sort of my attacking midfielder role, constantly causing problems for defences. His free kicks, his corners, his crossing is ridiculous. Fantastic player. And that is my midfield.
So my midfield three, Nathan,
Mm-hmm.
same as you really. Kevin De Bruyne,
Good.
best player possibly in the Premier League this season.
Oh, yeah.
Should get Player of the Year overall, I'd say. 16 assists, 8 goals,
Madness.
56.5 passes per match he's averaging, and he's had 1 goal of the month award as well. Secondly, I've gone for Maddison, same as you.
Yeah.
Fantastic going forward. He's created 75 chances, he's created 6 goals, he's had 3 assists and 62 shots altogether in the Premier League this season. Yeah, brilliant going forward. Him and Tielemans at the heart of that Leicester field, midfield, been fantastic. And Harry Barnes now coming into his own there. Perez as well on the right hand side, I think. But yeah, Maddison, superb. If the Euros were being played in 2020 this summer, then surely he'd be in that squad. My third and final central midfielder is Grealish of Aston Villa, just getting ahead of Henderson. Now I know Henderson has been very influential for Liverpool this season, and when he doesn't play, things don't tick as much. But yeah, Grealish has absolutely carried that Villa team. I know that they're near the bottom of the table at the moment, but he's had 6 assists himself. He scored 7 goals and he's had 55 shots this season. Everything seems to go through him. When I think it was McGinn went out injured, he's really stepped up to that plate and really taken on a lot of responsibility. He seems to have matured as a footballer. Yeah. Maybe not a person
Definitely not off the pitch,
as you've seen a couple of days ago, and he's actually admitted that as well. But I'm putting Grealish in there. He's a superb player, and of course Prince William is a big fan of his as well. Other players that could have got into this midfield, we've already talked about Henderson of Liverpool. Fernandes, you've pointed out from Man United. Mason Mount has had a great season. John McGinn, I've already touched on. St. Maxim, who's come in, but he's more of a winger, so we'll come into him in a moment. Fernandinho of Man City.
Well,
and he stepped back into the central defence,
which is a disaster of a move, I reckon. Yeah. Or that's what's really cost Man City this season, because he's not a proper centre back.
Yeah. Fleck of Sheffield United, Kante as well, although I think he's had his injury issues this season. Sarr of Watford, but I think he's more of a winger as well. Wijnaldum, who's played superbly for Liverpool this campaign. We've already touched on Tielemans as well. Also playing really well in centre midfield has been Norwood of Sheffield United, brilliant player. I think when the overlapping centre backs go forward, he seems to slot into those spaces that have been left by the defence. Also the left hand side midfield and right hand midfield as well help with that rear guard. And Lundstram, who's a favourite of fantasy football managers as well. He's done really well. So but that's my midfield 3. So your left and right wingers, Nathan.
Okay, so on the right, I've gone for Adama Traore. He has been absolutely ridiculous this season, playing past everyone. The amount of run-arounds he has and the way he's got around the old left-backs has been absolutely ridiculous. In the Man City game in particular was the reason he needs to be in this list, because usually Man City should be beating every side in the league, but that game where he just whips around them and then scores worldies is just insane, and the way he's given service to the likes of Jimenez on 13 goals. Now imagine if he had someone like Aubameyang or Vardy in the middle and he played to them, then that would just be a goal merchant, both of them, which they are anyway. But that would be ridiculous. And then on the left, I've gone for Mane, really strong, got 7 assists, 14 goals, putting a contribution all over the pitch, playing well, weaving around players, just been insane, and really instrumental into Liverpool pushing on for the league title. Can't really think of a better left wingers to play there, really. Could have had Diogo Jota in there, Hudson-Odoi, all of those, but Mane just stands out, really.
Yeah, I agree. I've actually gone exactly the same as you on the wing. Surprisingly, Salah's not in there. Phenomenal goal scorer, but for this season, on the right hand side of midfield or right wing, I've actually gone for Traore as well. As you said, absolutely amazing. I think he's taken on or attempted 144 take-ons this season, which is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, fantastic. I can't really think of anyone else apart from maybe Sally. Got Bernardo Silva, Zaha as well of Crystal Palace. More likely plays on the left as Zaha, but yeah, I know he's had his injury problems with his shoulder. Like I think he's dislocated it 3 times this season.
Yeah.
But he is. I remember him playing for Middlesbrough, and he was fantastic. But he's taken it to another level since he's been at Wolves. The power he's got, other players just bounce off him, and these are big players he's playing against, and he doesn't get knocked off the ball at all. Goes past people. He's quick, and he's adding to his game as well with his assists and his goal rate. I think he's only got about 4 goals this season, something like that. But phenomenal player, and he's my player of the season there on the right hand side or right wing. On left hand side, we say Mane, instrumental as well to how Liverpool play on the left hand side of midfield or left wing. As you say, he's got 14 goals this season, 7 assists. Brilliant player. Can't say anything else. The only player coming anywhere near him is Son of Tottenham, but I think he's been sent off.
He's been sent off a few times, and
twice this season.
Missed a few games.
Yeah, he's the. I think he's the top player in the whole of the league to get 2 red cards this season. So Mane for me. So finally, Nathan, your striker.
So up front, I've gone for the top scorer. No one else really. Jamie Vardy, the way he runs around players, the way he causes nightmares for defences, scores worldies in the process as well. Lots of chip goals and all. When he plays the ball into him, he just runs and scores. He's been absolutely phenomenal this season. Could have put Aubameyang in there, but with the way that Leicester played this season, I just had to put Vardy.
Superb, yeah. Well, I've gone for Pierre-Patrick Aubameyang. 17 goals. He scored 1 out of 1 penalty. I think Vardy has had 5 penalties and scored 4 from them. He's had that 1 miss. Yeah. So that has boosted Vardy's goals up. Whereas Aubameyang, I think he's played probably less games than Vardy and scored. Well, he scored 2 less goals, but I think looking at his goals and Vardy's penalties, then maybe that's maybe why I've shaded Aubameyang over Vardy as my striker. If I was playing 4-4-2, then they would be my
both of them
top 2. Aguero is in there as well. He's got 16 goals this term. Firmino, who's absolutely essential to the way Liverpool plays. We haven't mentioned him. He's got 8 goals this season, but I like my strikers to score goals and lots of them as well. Calvert-Lewin has been phenomenal for Everton this season. Really good. He's in my fantasy football team as well, so he's been really good. Danny Ings, who can forget Ings on the south coast for Southampton, really good there for a team in the lower half of the division. Rashford, before he got injured, was banging the goals in galore. He's got 14 goals, just 5 less than Vardy, and he's been out for quite what seems like forever now. Rashford, you've got the likes of Jimenez, who's got a phenomenal amount of assists and goals, 13 goals this season, and Kane's got 11, and he's been out for such a long time now. But if the season gets back on track, then we should see Kane back on the field. But it's Pierre-Patrick Aubameyang for me.
Perfect. Anyway, what's your bench?
My bench.
Interesting.
Well, a goalkeeper. If I was picking a goalkeeper, I'd have to say Leno. Even though we got the likes of Alisson. Leno. My defence, if we're picking how many defenders, maybe 2 defenders, I'd have Pereira and probably Maguire.
Interesting.
But there's Tyrone Miggs there, who haven't mentioned.
Miggs has been really good. Massive upgrade from James Chester as well.
So you're 2 defenders on the bench?
Well, I've actually put 1 defender, I've put Maguire, but as defensive midfielder I've put Ndidi, who we haven't mentioned in this video. He's been fantastic.
He has.
Good central defensive midfielder, ball playing. Really helped out Leicester as well. Another Leicester player. Maybe there's a theme in my team there. And then for the rest of my team, I put Salah on the bench, had to go there.
Yeah.
Then I put Richarlison. You could class him as a mid.
Yeah, he's had an excellent season as well.
He's been really good. And then I put 2 strikers on the bench, Jimenez and Aubameyang, because of the amount of goals they've scored, and Jimenez has been an absolute beast as well.
Yeah.
So that's my 7 on the bench.
So for my 3 midfielders on the bench, I've gone a little bit left field on these ones. I've gone for Sarr Salah,
yeah.
and Henderson, with Norwood just missing out there. Up front, I've got to put Jamie Vardy on that bench, even though I really like Calvert-Lewin. So that concludes our team of the season, Nathan and myself, for the 2019-2020 campaign.
Brilliant.
There are around about 9-10 games left for these teams to play. Hopefully they'll get to play them. We don't know when that's going to be. It may even be behind closed doors.
I hope it's not behind closed doors.
No, me neither.
If it's behind closed doors, I'd rather them cancel next season and play them in September if they have to, or even next year. But just don't put it behind closed doors.
Okay, thanks for joining me again for today, Nathan. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.